Every day, more than 100 million gummy bears are produced in Haribo factories around the world. These small treats roll off the production lines, ready to bring joy to children and adults everywhere. We are talking about one of the most popular candies on the planet, with more than a century of history and a presence in over 100 countries. But what turns a simple, colourful gummy into a cultural icon that has held a place in the hearts of generations? To find out, we step inside one of the most impressive production chains in the modern confectionery industry, the Haribo factories in Germany. The story of Haribo began in 1920 in Bonn, Germany, when Hans Riegel founded the company with nothing more than a bag of sugar, a marble slab, and a copper pot in his home kitchen. His wife, Gertrude, became his first employee, and together they began making hard candies. But the real breakthrough came in 1922, when Riegel invented the Tanzbären, or dancing bears, the precursors to the famous gold bears. These small gummy bears, inspired by the circus bears popular at the time, became an instant success thanks to their innovative texture and fruity flavour. The name Haribo is an acronym of Hans Riegel Bonn, and the company grew rapidly despite the challenges of the post-war era. By the 1930s, Haribo already employed around 160 people and had expanded its product line. After Hans's death in 1945, his sons Hans Jr. and Paul took over, modernising production and expanding internationally. Today, Haribo is a global giant with factories in 15 countries, yet the spirit of innovation from those early bears still lives on in every batch. But how are millions of gummy bears actually made in their factories? The base of Haribo's famous gummies is gelatin, which is obtained from collagen found in the skin, bones, and tendons of animals such as pigs and cows. Although it might sound complex, it's a highly controlled process with strict hygiene standards. It all begins in certified slaughterhouses, where raw materials are selected and collected. Once at the plant, they undergo a deep cleaning process. Pressurized water removes residues, disinfecting solutions such as hydrogen peroxide are used, and techniques like centrifugation or enzymatic treatments remove fat, hair, or proteins that are not useful for gelatin production. Then comes the key stage, transforming collagen into soluble gelatin. There are two main methods. The first is the acid method, fast and efficient, ideal for pigskins, and perfect for producing transparent gummies. Here, the skins are soaked in diluted acid solutions for several hours, causing the collagen to swell and become ready for extraction. The second method is the alkaline process, mainly used for cow bones. It is a much longer process, taking several weeks, as it requires repeated baths in alkaline solutions that are periodically renewed. In both methods, the material is finally neutralized and washed several times until it reaches a neutral and completely safe pH. Haribo also requires its suppliers to hold international certifications and comply with European regulations, ensuring complete traceability, from the farm to the factory. The company even conducts annual audits to verify animal welfare and environmental sustainability. Once the collagen is ready, it's time to transform it into gelatin. This is done by heating it in large extraction tanks, gradually raising the temperature from around 50 degrees Celsius up to 90. This heat breaks down the collagen bonds and turns them into a soluble form known as gelatin liquor. That liquid is not yet clean, so it is passed through ultra-fine filters that capture even bacteria and microscopic particles, resulting in an almost transparent gelatin. It is then concentrated through a vacuum evaporation system, reducing its volume without affecting its gelling properties. Next comes the drying phase, which can be done in two ways: spreading the gelatin in thin layers over conveyor belts with hot air, or spraying it into a dryer that instantly turns it into fine powder. The result is a dry gelatin powder with very low moisture content, capable of staying stable for years in storage. Before packaging, each batch undergoes rigorous quality control tests. From microbiological checks for bacteria such as Salmonella or E. coli to advanced analyses that detect traces of heavy metals. Only the gelatin that meets all standards makes it to factories like Haribo's. To give you an idea of how colossal this process is, from 1 ton of animal skins, only about 200 to 300 kilograms of gelatin are obtained. It may seem little, but thanks to multiple extractions, the result is those delicious gummy bears. Moreover, Haribo takes advantage of byproducts from the meat industry, helping reduce global waste. And not everything stays in the classic version. For markets with specific requirements, such as the United Kingdom or Turkey, Haribo produces certified halal bovine gelatin. In its vegan trials, animal gelatin is replaced with plant-based alternatives, such as fruit pectin or agar-agar, adjusting its supply chains to specialized suppliers of plant-based ingredients. With the gelatin ready, we now enter the Haribo factory. The first step is to prepare all the ingredients that will bring the gummies to life. In plants located in Germany, the United States, France, or Spain, the entire process is automated. Trucks unload the raw materials, and digital systems verify each batch to ensure full traceability and safety. The powdered gelatin is hydrated in massive stainless steel tanks filled with purified hot water, slowly stirred until it dissolves completely without any lumps or foam. Meanwhile, the sweet base is prepared in large cookers. Sugar and glucose syrup are heated until they form a thick, uniform syrup. Natural acids like citric or malic acid are added to balance the sweetness and give the gummies that perfect contrast between sweet and tart, enhancing their fruity flavors. The mixture then goes through a homogenization process to ensure everything is perfectly blended, followed by fine filtration to remove any unwanted particles. Quick tests are performed to check sweetness levels and viscosity. If anything falls outside the standards, the batch is reprocessed or discarded, preventing subpar products from reaching consumers. Once the gelatin is hydrated, it's mixed with the sweet base in massive tanks of up to 20,000 litres, kept at the ideal temperature using steam. At this stage, the flavours and colours that define each gummy are added: strawberry, pineapple, apple, lemon, or orange, along with approved colorants such as beta-carotene for orange, anthocyanins for red, or curcumin for yellow. In Europe, Haribo favours natural extracts over artificial additives, tailoring each recipe to regional market preferences. The mixture is kept under constant stirring to ensure uniform distribution and then placed under vacuum to remove air bubbles that could affect the final texture. In parallel, internal laboratories conduct quick tests to verify viscosity, composition, and microbiological safety. Everything is monitored in real time by sensors and specialized software, minimizing waste and maintaining full quality control. Next comes a critical phase: cooking. The mixture is transferred to vacuum cookers, where it's heated to over 100 degrees Celsius under reduced pressure. This allows excess water to evaporate without burning the sugars, achieving a dense syrup with the perfect concentration. It's a delicate balance. Overcooking caramelizes the sugar and makes the gummies hard, while undercooking leaves them too moist and sticky. That's why digital control systems monitor and adjust every parameter in real time. Haribo also optimizes energy use by recycling steam and condensed water for other stages of the process. At the end of this phase, the thick syrup is cooled to around 60 to 70 degrees Celsius, reaching the ideal consistency for molding. And here begins one of the most iconic steps: shaping the famous gummy bears. The molding process uses a technology known as the mogul system, which involves large trays covered with a layer of dry cornstarch. On this smooth starch surface, plates with engraved molds press down to create hundreds of cavities shaped exactly like gummy bears, complete with tiny details such as eyes, ears, and paws. Each design is crafted with precision, often using prototypes and 3D printed molds to ensure identical shapes worldwide. Once the trays are ready, the most delicate part begins, filling each cavity with the gummy mixture. High-precision nozzles, controlled by servo motors and digital systems, deposit the hot mixture in fractions of a second, dispensing the exact amount needed for each gummy. Each piece weighs just half a gram to a gram, but the precision is extraordinary. Every gummy is identical in size and weight. Even the mixture's density is measured in real time to automatically adjust quantities and avoid inconsistencies. The trays move along conveyor belts at a steady pace, and here the cornstarch plays a key role, one that will be revealed later. When it comes to multicolored gummies like the famous Gold Bears, multi-head injection systems deposit different colored layers one on top of another, creating perfectly blended combinations. For example, a light-colored base with a red layer for the bear's head. How many gummies fit in a single tray? Between 1,000 and 5,000. Multiply that by the thousands of trays moving through Haribo plants, and you get more than 100 million gummies produced every day worldwide. The process runs continuously. Trays are filled, dried, cleaned, and reused. This system allows the production lines to adapt to any design, from classic bears to snakes, cola bottles, and over 1,000 varieties Haribo produces globally. After this massive filling phase comes one that requires time and precision. Drying. This is where gummies truly develop their signature texture. The loaded trays are stacked on robotic racks and moved into large drying rooms with tightly controlled conditions. These rooms maintain temperatures around 25 degrees Celsius and low humidity levels of 20 to 30%. There, the gummies rest for 24 to 48 hours, or up to 72 in some cases, to achieve a firmer texture or adjust to humid climates. During this stage, the cornstarch acts as a natural desiccant, gradually drawing out moisture from the gummies. Their water content drops from an initial 30% to about 15%, just enough to make them firm yet chewy. Nothing is left to chance. Tests are carried out every few hours using infrared or microwave analyzers to measure humidity, while wireless sensors embedded in the trays monitor each batch in real time. This slow drying process is one of the key differences between Haribo gummies and cheaper alternatives. In fast industrial methods, high heat can leave them rubbery, grainy, or with surface defects. Haribo, on the other hand, values patience, losing up to half of the initial water weight, but concentrating flavour and achieving that perfect texture that made its gummies famous worldwide. To increase efficiency, some Haribo factories use drying tunnels with tightly controlled laminar airflow. This reduces the waiting time to about 18 hours without compromising quality. During this phase, the gummies develop their bloom or gel strength, measured on a scale known as bloom. In Haribo's case, it typically ranges between 200 and 250, ensuring that firm yet flexible bounce with every bite. For vegan versions made with pectin, drying takes even longer, since they require lower moisture levels to stabilize without animal gelatin. Once ready, the trays return to the mogul machine for demolding. They are carefully inverted onto vibrating screens operating at different frequencies, releasing the gummies while the excess cornstarch is separated using sieves and cyclonic suction systems. Rotating brushes and gentle air jets remove any remaining starch without damaging the shapes. Interestingly, almost all of that starch is reused. It's dried, cleaned, and reintegrated into the process, achieving about 95% recovery, minimizing waste and reducing costs. With the gummies now free of starch, it's time for finishing. They're placed in rotating drums where they receive a thin coating of carnauba wax or vegetable oil, giving them their signature shine and preventing them from sticking together. Sour varieties, however, go through vibrating coaters where they're dusted with a mix of sugar and acid, creating that crisp outer layer barely 1/10 of a millimeter thick. But it doesn't end there. A crucial step follows: quality inspection. Haribo's reputation rests on a control system that combines human expertise with advanced technology. Trained operators using magnifying lenses examine each batch under LED lights to spot imperfections, misshapen gummies, bubbles, discoloration, or defects. The rejection rate is low, typically around 1 to 2%, and many of those pieces are recycled as rework. Meanwhile, high-speed machines equipped with ultra-high-resolution cameras and artificial intelligence analyze up to 10,000 gummies per minute, precisely measuring their size, three-dimensional shape, and colour against digital standards. Texture tests are also performed using pressure sensors to check elasticity and bounce, ensuring every gummy maintains the ideal consistency. And it's not just about looks. Expert tasting panels evaluate flavour, texture, and aroma in controlled booths, complemented by laboratory chemical analyses that detect volatile compounds and potential contaminants. Metal detectors and X-ray scanners ensure that no foreign objects enter the production line, all under strict international standards. In fact, the candy industry has faced incidents in the past, but Haribo safeguards its process with strict protocols. UV sterilization of production lines, cross-allergen monitoring, and multiple quality checks at every stage. All of this guarantees that what ends up in your hand meets a standard of excellence few can match. Finally, we reach the last step, packaging, a stage that completes the production cycle with the same precision seen from the start. The gummies that pass inspection move to multi-head weighers, machines with 10 to 24 heads that measure the exact product weight to the gram. Each bag of 100 or 200 grams is filled with extreme accuracy, with a margin of error of only half a gram, at speeds of up to 100 packs per minute. Once weighed, the portions are placed into pre-formed containers. Classic laminated polypropylene bags, cardboard boxes, or transparent plastic jars. These containers open through suction systems, are filled using vibrating funnels, and then hermetically sealed. Technologies like heat sealing at 150 degrees Celsius or even ultrasonic sealing ensure each package is airtight, protecting the gummies from moisture and oxygen. Nothing is overlooked. Vacuum tests verify every seal. Next comes labeling. Each package receives essential information: expiration date, typically between 12 and 18 months, batch codes, and nutritional data. This is done using inkjet or laser printers for speed and clarity, producing millions of perfectly labelled packs daily. Before leaving the factory, the packages pass one last checkpoint. Metal detectors, check weighers, and vision systems inspect for labelling errors, weight inconsistencies, or contaminants. Only then are they robotically palletized and stored in temperature-controlled warehouses, ready for worldwide distribution. In Haribo plants, these integrated lines produce millions of units each day. In the end, what seems like just a candy is actually the result of precision engineering, continuous innovation, and a flawless quality system. From gelatin extraction to the final seal, every step is designed so that when you open a bag of Haribo bears, you always get the same taste, texture, and freshness. And now I ask you, what's your favourite gummy? Tell me in the comments. If you enjoyed the video, click the like button and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. In the windows you'll see next, there are more videos that might catch your attention. Go check one out. See you next time.